Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
Here we go. Welcome back to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast, the only one that brings the old time, old school kitchen table to you. Right, Roof?
With a couple of dusty guys, too, I might add.
Oh, dude, we got guys on tonight. You want warrior guys? You want a guy? You talk about a report from Engine Company 82. This was the guy giving the report, bro. He was Dennis Smith's captain. Warriors guys getting on in the 60s and early 70s.
90, what is he, 90 what?
90. Oh, he's going to be 90. He came in. I had to blow the dust off him. We had to shake him up a little bit.
He's full of piss and vinegar, so I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Yeah. He's ready to go. Both of them.
He's ready to go. Give him a couple of wines. He'll be good.
Jimmy, too, is ready to go.
We got Jimmy McGinnis. He looks like an Italian, but he's really an Irishman.
He's got
another guy up in Harlem. Know where he was? Harlem. Up in Harlem.
Never heard of it.
69 and 28, somewhere up. I don't know where that is.
Somewhere's up there.
Yeah, I don't know. Welcome. Hey, Gons.
That's like the fourth time you've done that tonight, bro.
What's up, Tank?
What up,
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's like a subliminal thing, maybe, Tank.
Maybe so.
No, because somebody in the pre-show, somebody said, "Oh, I want Gonzo to do the show." I said, "Nah, I hate Gonzo." No, I don't really hate Gonzo.
Yeah, you know, it's all good. No love lost.
No, it's a teamwork. It makes the dream work, right, Roof?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. How come you got no Parker on there tonight? You turned the heat on? Or
it's actually a little chillier today than it was the other night, believe it or not.
But you put the heat on.
I've been doing stuff. I've been working. I had my World Trade Center medical this morning, so I'm taking care of business.
You went in there, you did a couple of these,
a couple of those. I said, Doc, it hurts when I do this. He said, don't do that.
Right. I heard you were shouted out there. The girls were loving you. They're like, "Oh, Louie from Gettin' Salty."
No, they weren't doing that.
Something like that. No.
Nah.
They did.
But I got a guy. I did get a guy over there.
You did.
Who did I get? Bob, Captain Bob.
You have a last name, or it's just Captain Bob?
I have his card. Where do I have it? I have it over here somewhere. Rainey, Bob Rainey, R-A-I-N-E-Y. Captain retired.
Right.
Another one of those guys. As soon as it starts telling stories, can't
Louie Andrade has to know that guy. You know, when you've been around for 90 years, you got to basically almost know everybody, right?
Dusty, very dusty.
Yeah, but they'll be good. He's sharp, both of them.
They are sharp.
Yeah. Jimmy does 100 push-ups a day. How do you like that?
Right.
That's 99 and a half more than I do.
I was just going to say that.
And 100 more than Tank does.
Sure.
Hang it up.
Yeah, man.
All right, before we get too long on a toot, let's do some commercials. All right, get them out of the way.
Commercials.
Do it, Tank. Do that thing that you do best.
First things first, fam. If you're watching us live, you're here on YouTube with us, hit us up in a super chat if you have questions you want to ask our guests, or if you just want to be nice and you love us. Open up your wallet, throw out a few shekels, hit us up in a super chat. And the best way to get at us, let me scroll through all 5 million of our pictures we have here. Hit us at gettinsaltyapparel.com. And here is the ad from your favorite MC.
If you're looking for a gift for that special firefighter in your life, then head on over to gettinsaltyapparel.com. Yes, gettinsaltyapparel.com. What do we have? Well, we carry hand-drawn original t-shirts, glassware such as mugs, shot glasses, pint glasses, engraved Arctic cooler cups, and much, much more. There's also a full line of firefighter tool bottle openers like Halligan's, nozzles, and wine bottle opener accesses too. And if you're a cigar smoker, congratulations! We have partner sauce cigar cutters and humidors. Think we're done? Far from it. We got toiletry, gear bags, koozies, a full line of hats, decals, sweatshirts, and once again, so much more. We could also personalize most of these products, and if you want discounts, hey, you've come to the right place. We got discounts on large orders for promotion dinners, weddings, as well as installation dinners. Just head on over to gettinsaltyapparel.com.
Sweet.
And then
roll right into the Armor Tough with our boy
at Armor Tough.
Big Vince.
Armor Tough interlock.
There we go again.
Armor Tough interlocking floor tiles are the best choice to replace new or aging, stained, cracked concrete, or epoxy floors, and here's why. Armor Tough tiles comes with a lifetime, yes, you heard that correctly, lifetime warranty, and
Oh,
I guess this is going to be a new thing for us. Let's try it a third time, fam.
Armor Tough interlocking floor tiles are the best choice to replace new or aging, stained, cracked concrete, or epoxy floors, and here's why. Armor Tough tiles comes with a lifetime, yes, you heard that correctly, lifetime warranty, and are usually installed in just 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, with virtually no disruption in the operation of your station. Armor Tough interlocking tiles are guaranteed from the following: chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining, and once installed, the tiles are non-skid and non-slip. And they also meet the ADA standards for the friction coefficient, which you always love. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to any chemicals or volatiles that we commonly see used in the fire service. And once installed, you can clean your floor the standard way, the old school way, with just soap and water. Install an Armor Tough tile in your apparatus bays, your offices, training rooms, workshops, exercise rooms, kitchens, banquet halls, or any other room. Yes, any other room in your station. Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697. Why install a breakable epoxy floor that you're going to have to replace in 5 to 10 years when you could have a floor that will last a lifetime? Drop a Halligan on an Armor Tough floor, you won't see any damage to it. However, you can't say the same about concrete or, of course, epoxy too. Join the hundreds, yes, hundreds of career and volunteer fire departments nationwide who have chosen an Armor Tough interlocking tile floor. Armor Tough interlocking tiles are half the price of epoxy and will last a lifetime without issue. Again, call Vince today for no obligation. Yes, you heard that correctly. No obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
Yeah, that was my fault. MC just said I touched. If I touched something,
I knew already who it was.
Hey,
If I had to bet money on it, I was betting it was him, without a doubt.
it's okay. Sometimes technology just has to remind us
There's no
that
way it
we
could
operate
come
at
off.
their
I'm like,
will.
the only reason this has started to happen is because you guys gave him an opportunity to be in
nobody
the
gave me shit.
Incredible.
I'm scrolling
Goes
through
right
the
to-
chat, and all of
yeah.
a sudden it goes bloop. I'm like, hey, did I just do that?
No.
Oh my! I do
Nah,
not give
never
it
happened.
or taketh away. Okay, it is
Never
not
happened
me.
for 2 years. Now all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, we gave him an
Every
opportunity
show.
to be in charge of something right in the toilet.
Yeah, you know, it just gives us a chance to laugh at ourselves a little bit.
I
It's
just
okay.
texted him because I'm like, somebody's touching something. I knew it was him. I knew it.
Oh my!
Hey,
of my
go
life.
figure. All right,
Ah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's move on to some things we can control, like the
Yes.
people that are waiting on us to hush.
Yes. Listen, you're not going to get a chance to ask a guy who's in, 82 engine a question. So let a couple of shekels out of your pocket, you cheap bastards, and throw some money up and ask these questions. That's all I got to say about the super chat. All right, Roof, you bring him in. I'll get on the applause button. Let's do it right now. Do it.
All right, so we have the legends, Captain Louie Andrade and Jim McGinnis, along with Susan Hecht.
Me.
Right?
There he is.
Susan, did I say your last name right? I'm sorry, I'm not 100% sure.
Is it Susan Hecht? Is that right?
Oh, she can't hear us.
Susan, you can't hear us? Hello?
Yeah.
I didn't touch shit. Can you hear us now, Susan?
Did you hear me now?
Jim, I got you, Jim.
I got you.
Got me?
I didn't touch anything. I didn't do shit. I didn't do nothing.
It's,
You want-
it's
you
gotta
know what?
be on their end this
Tell
time.
her,
got my
put,
man.
put her out and have her come back in.
All right.
Want me to do a drum roll?
Hey, Jim, how's it going
Jim,
today?
good hair, brother.
Welcome
Good
to the
hair.
show, Jim.
All right. Legend. Yeah, come on.
Legend, come on.
You know what my legend is? And the guys that know me, and I'm the only guy in the job, right? You know what my nickname in the Firehouse was?
No.
Motor Mouth
Oh,
or McMouth, right? So, and he'll tell you too, the captain, right? So, but I tell you what, you got me down at the bottom of the totem pole here. You got the chief of the department, you got the chief you had there, the guys from soccer and all that stuff. You come all the way down. You got me. I'm a 20-year guy. That's it. I feel like sneakers on a tuxedo.
Hey, listen, we still got a long list, so you're
Sneakers on
still
a
ahead of those
tuxedo.
guys. So
Yeah.
What's next there? The Chiefs aids next, right?
you're still doing all right.
Yeah, we're doing a show on the Chiefs AIDS next, Jim. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
you came above them. And then, yeah.
Well, I did 20 years in the.
Never heard of
Kelly I was the first patient in Harlem, Ginsburg. They gave me a year. I got to give them credit. They gave me another year. and I had to get out. I just couldn't do it anymore, right? So, and here I am, So,
And here you are on the show.
How old are
watched
you,
the show?
Jim? How old are you?
I'm gonna be 79 in 3 weeks. And
Pretty good.
you said I did 100. Now I don't want to take bragging rights. I sometimes do 100 push-ups a day. Sometimes I'm at the gym or whatever I'm doing, right? But I don't do it every day,
Do one-arm push-ups?
He says if he finds time,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
well, I
no.
try.
What happened? They didn't sign back in. They lost something. What
They're
happened?
not there yet.
Well, you gotta get my man back. There's a guy with there's a legend.
Yeah, I might have to reach out to with technical difficulties. But before we do
yeah,
that,
well,
here they come. They're coming in. They're trying.
and
Everything was great for an hour. What happened?
Right?
yeah. Ooh,
Yeah,
I don't know. They
Sounds
got
good.
8,000 people scrambling over there in the Setauket Fire
Hey,
Department.
man.
Ah!
I'll give you.
Yeah.
I'll give you. Well, I'll give you an introduction on Louie Andrade when he came over to us, right? I come into work and we got a new captain. We just lost. I had Captain Louie on my pelly, a wonderful guy. If Benny Dunn, if you're out there, Chief Dunn, you sent me the pictures of you and Captain Marpelli and your wives. I'm Jimmy. Now you got a
Face to the name?
Face to the name.
Right? But anyway, I come in. Guys, we got a new guy in here, right? Yeah, he did backflips right down the apparatus floor. So I'm thinking, well, who's this guy, right? It's our new captain. Him. This guy does backflips. He probably can still do them, So he's got a crazy rep,
How old were you then when you met him? How old were you?
I was. How old was I?
Yeah, like how old were you?
I was in there. I got there in 1970, so he got there 73 or something like that, And he got
Now, when you say came over to us for the audience, where were you working?
6928. Come over to Harlem. All right, they're over there. We just went across them. The one thing that's nice about us, we had the bridge right there, so we were always going to South Bronx, and they had 41 engine and 60 engine with 32 Tower boxes. So we're doing South Bronx, Harlem. So it was good. So but either way,
They're coming in now. Here they are.
They are back.
Coming in.
Not Adam again.
Coming in shit hot.
We're back.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, we're
What do you say, Cap? How are you?
I'm fine, but I hope I didn't just screw you up.
No, what are you kidding?
No, we
How
were
could
always
you screw
talking
two
bad
screw
about
ups?
you. Yeah,
Can't
we were
screw
just
two
talking
screw
bad
ups.
about you. Is that okay?
I'm not the young Lou doing the. We didn't call it Warriors. We said, "How many runs you have last night?" And they'd say, and then would say, and a box would hit. We got it. Out the door we go, and it was busy days. It wasn't Warriors.
Oh, all right.
But
Before
now
we get
it
into the stories,
I'm impressed.
let's get patriotic. We have some things to take care of. So, Tank, let's play the.
Don't touch nothing, Kevin.
All right, fam.
How do you want me to get patriotic? Hoorah!
Yeah.
We have a new thing for us
Gotta
all
thank
tonight,
Marine
fam. I
Corps.
hope you
Love
enjoy
you.
it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
beautiful.
My girl MJ, she's a Baldwin volley. MJ, she's our new.
Very nice.
Love that chick. She's gonna be in Indy. All right, guys. So we let's get a little background. Cap, tell us when you got on, just briefly, when you got on, what companies you worked in, and when you got out.
Came out of the Marine Corps. Worked 3 years in a factory in West Farm Street in Hicksville. Decided I couldn't get any good union jobs. You either had to be family or in the union. So I went to Delahanty's, Lower Manhattan, and I took the police and fire test, passed both, and was appointed, investigated by Sergeant O'Connell, standing at attention. And he says with an Irish brogue, "I come 3,000 miles to be your boss." Yes, sir. I tell you, the guy gave me a hard time. He picked up on my discharge. I lost the stripe. What did I do? What was the punishment? I had to write a composition. I had to get clearance for a minor accident on the Bronx Whitestone Bridge. But he passed me. So I can't say anything bad about him. 109 Precinct, old wooden building in Flushing, Queens. But the fire department called me first, February 1957. And I was sworn in and assigned to Engine 76, Battalion 11, 102nd Street between Amsterdam and Columbus. I was told to report on a Saturday. I did. And I went to the firehouse, looked in. Where the hell's the apparatus? There's no apparatus. So I found, there was somebody in there. And because they had coal in the basement, and they had lockers on the apparatus floor, I didn't know they had moved the battalion and 76 in with 22 truck on Amsterdam Avenue between 97th and 98th Street. So I was told to report there, and I did, and that was the beginning of my career. And the lieutenant said, "Hey, kid, go to the rack, find something that fits you." And so I grabbed a pair of rubber boots, and we had rubber coats, and we had plastic orange gloves. Not the best stuff to go into a fire. But anyway, and you follow Fireman McGinnis. A lot of Irish, a lot of German, a lot of Italians. I was kind of, something different. I was like a Heinz 57, But anyway, I did as I was told, and that was beginning. I was in with 300 first was signed. I was lucky to be, later found out, I was a probie assigned with Tom Farrell for a truck, with the author.
Dennis Smith?
Not Dennis Smith. You just mentioned his name from Douglaston, Bayside Douglaston. Vinny Dunn, and myself. And of course, I was assigned a 76 engine. Vinny Dunn went to 59 engine, and Bob Farrell went to 4 truck. Evidently he had some weight. So
he had a hook.
And that was the beginning of my career. I was in the group that went to school first. The others stayed in the firehouse. My first 2 weeks was doing down at Pier 1. That was water work. Next 2 weeks were behind were in Manhattan behind I forget where the children were. The nuns took care of the kids, 68th Street. That was a lot of work. And then we went 2 weeks out to Queens, where the shops were, and we did summages and building construction and first aid, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then I went to the firehouse. The other guys I came to school. I was appointed with Patrick McGrill. He had a brogue.
Of course he did.
He did like me. He did 34 years, maybe longer. And Patrick still had a brogue.
What he's talking about?
a lot of the patches I worked with, they'd say when I became a lieutenant, God damn it, Lieutenant, we'll settle this in the basement. But anyway, I was lucky to study, get promoted to a lieutenant in 1966. And unfortunately, while I was a Johnny lieutenant, we had the 23rd Street fire. And on my way to work, I buy a paper and I saw 12 firemen missing. And we went out there that day with a couple of thousand firefighters who left their homes and went out there. And but we didn't go to work. We stood fast. When they found the body, rescue would find a body. They would call the company who the member belonged to, and they would remove. And Chief O'Hagan would ask for quiet. He'd say a few words and we'd say a prayer, and the day went on. So if I may tell a story about the funeral, the majority of the men were Roman Catholic, and the puppets were set up with caskets going up Fifth Avenue, and most of the bodies were going to St. Patrick's. And I was told by the captain of the training school, you're a left footer, Lieutenant, and we're going to send you 3 blocks down on the other side of the street to St. Thomas for the Protestants. So I said, excuse me, sir, what's a left footer? You're a lesser Catholic. Naturally, I said, well, evidently you love me, you know. So I said, I'm very proud to be do honor God for them, and got a chance to do that and kind of become part of the job deeper and deeper. I was just fortunate. Things happened for me that I ended up doing a lot. So I can bring it that far. I can tell you many more stories, but my buddy from Harlem, I got promoted to captain. I went, Chief O'Hagan said, you're a ghetto fireman. I'm sending you to Midtown. You need more experience. 2 weeks later, I meet Jimmy McGinnis. I'm a captain in the 69 engine, the Harlem Hilton. So I didn't learn nothing in Manhattan. No, but I think maybe I should pass on to Jim and let him say a few. I don't know how this thing goes.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great, Captain.
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
All right, Jimmy McGinnis, tell us a little about your career now, won't you?
Oh, yeah. I'll fill the whole page with this one, right? No, I had I grew up in Astoria, Queens, and and I wasn't doing too good there with my antics. So I wound up meeting my future wife, St. Barbara, and she's known as throughout the fire community up here as St. Barbara for a reason, and 50 years, right? So and then so I meet her, and then I get serious. I go into service, come out of the service, got a job at UPS, and then I went to the tractor trailer school and doing a feeder, driving the tractor trailers. A buddy of mine talked me into, come on over to the fire department, and then I took about a $4,700 pay cut.
Pay cut, yeah.
What the hell is that today? What's 47? What's that? 20 grand or something, And the best thing I ever did. Friends for life, all the friends I have, right? So, and then, got on a job, right? And 69 engine, 28 truck, 20 years, and that was it, So no lieutenant and all that good stuff. So,
Nothing wrong with being on the back step your whole career.
Right, I'm a backstep guy, and I'm telling you, the guys in France loved it. 20 years. They wear little emblems about that. They're proud of that. So I'm going to represent. I'll tell you what. There's a whole bunch of us. 20-year backstep guys. That's what I'm going to represent. Right.
And you started in 69, right?
I'm your guy tonight. Yeah.
How many years in 69 before you went to the truck?
I did. I think 7 or 8. Then I went to. I think 8 and 12, something like that. I did 12 in the truck. And
When I
painting
talked to Jim, I said, so he's like, yeah. I said, how long were you there? He's like, yeah, 8, 12. I said, so all right, you didn't see any fire then, right?
And you got on in 1970, right, Jim?
1970, yeah. And then got out in 1990. Yeah. So,
Nice. All right, so let's before we get into the
let's get to
stories, let's get
talk about the
to
book.
Susan and the book, and tell us how you came across the book, and we'll talk a little bit about Jill and how she got into this and created such a beautiful relationship with the FDNY.
Yeah, they want me.
Right, that's me. Okay. All right. Hi. My turn.
Oh.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about Jill. Very excited to be here again. A great podcast. We're honored to be honorary members of the FDNY through Jill. It's been you guys are just absolutely awesome, and we're so impressed and so blown away by what you do every single day and what you've done every single day, and just really, really true heroes without a doubt. So Jill was a photographer, self-taught photographer. In 1968, Martin Luther King died. She was working in an advertising company. She meets somebody in Central Park, standing next to a mule. He says, "Hey, we're heading down to D.C. for the Poor People's Campaign. You want to come?" She's like, "Yeah, I do." Packed her stuff up, headed down there on a bus, picked people up in Newark, in Philadelphia, in Baltimore, and down in D.C., and lived for 6 weeks in with the poor people to kind of do a peaceful protest. There were a lot of reporters there. She was the only one who actually lived in the tents with these people on here. Life magazine picked up 5 or 6 of her pictures. Boom, that's her first book. Her first book was called Resurrection City, Poor People's Campaign. Pretty amazing. She did that. After that, she's like, okay, what am I going to do next? I really always want to live in the circus. She's like, I'm going to go live in the circus. So she followed a circus around, and for 6 months lived with a circus that was based in Parsippany, and it's called Poughkeepsie. I mean, it was the Beauty Cole Traveling Circus, and she took amazing pictures of the circus. And then she set her sights on the FDNY. She always was. She always was obsessed with. She was a New Yorker. She lived in Greenwich Village. She was a hippie. She was used to drink a lot in the Lion's Head down in the Greenwich Village, where she met Dennis Smith. They talked. He said, "Listen, I really would love to have you. I want to write a book. I want you to do the photographs." And years went by. It didn't really happen. They met again in Ireland, where they both spent a lot of time. Came back and actually did the book. She went to her base was Engine 82, Ladder 31. She also was in Harlem in 69 and 28, and she had amazing pictures there. She had unprecedented access. 1975, 1976. She really didn't ask permission, to be honest with you. I don't know. The deputy chief let her in somehow. She was welcomed. She was charming, and she wasn't allowed to. She would work 12 hours on, 12 hours off. She'd 12 hours on. She'd run back to her apartment. She would print all her pictures, and then she would go back for 12 hours. She wasn't allowed to live in the firehouse because there was no women at that point in the firehouse. So she lived in the deputy chief's car. She would live there. She would sleep there, get up, go on the rigs. She would hop on a truck and take incredible pictures. I'm sure we'll see some of the pictures coming up. Tank is going to show some, which is just amazing. So the book came out. What Jill was really famous for was not just taking pictures of fires, which she did, but it was really about the camaraderie of the firefighters, of the people, of the men, at that point, mostly men inside of the firehouse. It was just a brotherhood, and you see that in the book. So I'll kind of segue a little bit. She subsequently, after she did the firehouse, someone said, "Oh, you got to do you got to do NYPD." And she was a little bit of a hippie, a little bit, didn't really love cops, especially after 1968 and doing a lot of protests. And she said, "I'm not going to do the NYPD. I hate them. I hate effing cops. I'm not going to do this on here." And but she did it, and she ended up spending 2 years with Midtown South and 9th Precinct. And she really, of course, when you spend time with these incredible guys, both the FDNY and the NYPD, learned to love them and admire them, and really saw the other side and how much of these guys were really true heroes and parts of the community. And everything that, you hear all this stuff in the news right now, it's so topical because what she did is showed these guys as amazing as they are, both police and firemen. And it's just awesome. Going back now, we republished Street Cops 2 years ago. We republished Firehouse this year. Jill is our cousin, and we're just thrilled about this. So she's written a couple other books about Ireland, 2 books about Ireland, another book about dogs. She loved animals more than people, but she was an incredible person, and her book is amazing. My sister's going to read one thing about what Jill wrote. A little controversial. I've had this on some of the fireman sites on here, firefighter sites on here, and I've gotten some feedback. I think it's amazing. It's really clear. If I can let her just read this. So,
Sure.
yeah.
As it is, I saw the only firefights I can respect, fought in the only uniform I like. If men must fight wars, let them fight for life instead of death. Let them fight for their own species, not for other men's ambition or profit. If we must have heroes, then let them be live ones. And if we can give out medals, let them be for saving life, not for destroying it. As one woman in the South Bronx put it, thanks, firemen. There's a lot of children that live here. Jill Freedman.
Excellent.
Wow.
So, I mean, she just really thought, she was her observer of people, and we're just so proud to be a part of this and part of getting to know the firefighters that we've gotten to know, and it's been an incredible experience for us.
Sue, let me ask you this: how did she make money?
She didn't. She spent her entire life. Honestly, she died fairly destitute. I mean, she not destitute. I take that back. She had her pictures, but she, for the most part, first, it's very expensive to be a photographer. She also was not a great self-promoter. And she was, you talk about someone who's salty. She was salty. I wish she was, she died 3 years ago. I wish she would have been on one of your first episodes, because you would have absolutely loved her. She had a mouth on her. She was very
You're not fireman, for God's sake. You got to be, you got to be like that.
Right.
That'd
And
be
she was
salty.
amazing. So all her money went back to, she had a dark room in her apartment. She would just go, all her money went back into really, putting things back in. She's well renowned. You look at her, she's in museums throughout the world, galleries. She's so well known on here, but she had a little, issue of, playing nice with people. And there's a lot of, she had a, little drinking issue and a little personality, a very strong-willed. So she didn't always pay nice. She also was a woman in a men's world. And, she hated the word woman photographer, but she thought of herself as just a photographer. But she definitely, throughout the world, alienated people and didn't always work for her best, interests on here. And she was humble, like the firemen are so humble on here. Like, you call a fireman a hero, that's the most annoying thing you could say to someone, because they feel they're doing their job and it's what they want to be doing in here. Jill was like that in a lot of ways. I think that's why maybe she identified with so many of the firemen as well, and just felt so connected with them, because they just what they do. So
speaking, like, it was a man's world back then. Did she get any pushback from the guys? Like, a woman doesn't belong in a firehouse, or?
Initially, yes. Until, listen, as she said, she always got the picture that she wanted. So even though some people may have been, apprehensive at first, she always won them over. She was extremely charming, extremely delightful to be around. So when the guys of course, initially, here's this cute woman coming into the firehouse. Initially, they were all a little bit, apprehensive about it. But once they met her, once she was there, she was in the middle. She was in on rigs, on fires. I mean, you'll see some of her pictures. You would never see those type of pictures again. So people definitely did love her and she became a part of their firefighter family, without a doubt.
I was going to say, ask Cap what he remembers of them.
If I may, now that we're
Please, go. That's it.
I bought one of those books.
The original.
Back in '77, $14.95. That was a bargain. And Jill signed it. And if you don't mind, I'll read what she wrote. And I'm going to give this book to the family. And to Screwy Louie, your help and your friendship meant a lot to me, and I couldn't have understood many things, nor got them in my camera without you. And I know that while Harlem misses you, you are the king of queens. Love, Jill. And what had happened, I was transferred from Harlem to Queens for my last years. I may tell this story later on, why, but so this book is for you ladies and Wendy.
Thank you. Mwah. Thank you.
Oh, I can't. How can you
I mean, what are you going to do? Cap,
Take
you
it
still
back and
got
give
it.
it to her again. Take
You
it back.
still
and
got
give
it,
to her
Cap. You
again.
still got it.
If I may continue, gentlemen, so I made a little note to give with this book that I mentioned to Dennis and Jill, and of course Dennis was my fireman in 82 engine, and powerful photographs and words giving us a look into the world of firefighters, the service to save and to protect life and property in New York City, then their trust, respect, love for one another. Firehouse, a tribute to all firefighters in America, Canada, and the world. I am proud Jill signed my copy of Firehouse and felt the friendship and appreciation to be able to photograph with her camera and help give her understanding of firefighters. Jill Freedman, a great gal, Lieutenant Andrade, Engine 82, Captain Andrade, Engine 69, last year's 320, Flushing, Queens, where I was born. So you can have that.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's a good fellow.
She was a great gal, and
I was going to say that, Cap. What do
she
you
wanted
remember?
to tell the other side. Firefighters love fire pictures. I think you might have captured some, but she wanted the side of what a fireman really like. Are they family men? Do they love one another? Are they good with the public? And she brought out all these things.
Tank, put some pictures up, brother.
A lot of her photographs, when the fire was out, the kids playing in the street with the hose and the water, or going up to a pumper and there's a special nozzle where they can get a drink of cold water in the hot summer. And pictures of taking out victims, civilian and firefighters who were. She told the whole story of what a firefighter does and how they react with the public. And we got along pretty good with the public. Of course, anytime there was a riot, that's bad. Bad things were done. But we had a pretty good relationship, and she brought that out in a lot of her photographs. And so I was glad to help her. I was glad that guys like Jim McGinnis and officers and firefighters were nice to her. I can tell you a story later, which is kind of funny, but it's part of her life being in the firehouse. And unfortunately, I can't remember one chief that loved her in Harlem. And we called the chief Cuddles, and he loved Jill. And of course, she loved him because she was riding with him in the chief's car. So, but I'm going to shut up for and
that was Jill's gift. You know, she was able to really capture in all of her photographs, really capture the humanity.
That's a great picture too. I use that for Christmas all the time. That picture.
The emotion.
Right.
Jim, what do you remember about her?
Oh, a lot. You know, so where am I here? Yeah.
There you are.
The rink.
You're back.
Right. The first night first of all, she didn't get a good welcoming in Harlem, right? When she first came across, she walked in the door, me and this guy Finnegan was sitting there, you know, same thing. Who's this bird? Oh, so I cursed. So anyway, when she had paperwork, you know, they had to show the chief. She did have some kind of a permission, right? And the next morning, right, that she couldn't go upstairs or anything like that. Next morning, about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever, we get a job at the block, right? And I'm in the engine at that time, it's stretching, and I'm not paying attention. I'm putting the line out and all. And dirty truck is coming up, 28 in there searching some shit, right? And I'm hearing, who the F is this? Get the F out of here. I turn around, and she's ballsy, Jill was, right? She's on the half landing taking pictures. So I look, holy shit, and now they're going to start taking the glass, right? So, I'm the king chaser, right? I go over, and sure enough, they're taking the glass. I got her up against the wall. Hey, what's the matter with you? You can't deal. stay up. You got no helmet on or something. The damn ship will, cut you the whole bit, right? And so, she came down and the guys yelled at her and all that stuff, right? And then, they, eventually, they accepted her. And she actually slept in the dining room and the kitchen table at times. You come down at 2 a.m, she'd be laying there on the table. But she took great pictures, and she had a real heart for the grit, and the oh, here's another one. She come in the Firehouse again. I must be bad luck to her. She comes in, she's crying like hell. She had a black BMW, I think. It was a black car. It was a nice car. And we had a park across the street, right? And it was a schoolyard. And we used to park up on the apron, right? And she parked there. We don't know that. She comes in, and, she was in the Firehouse. And now she goes out, do something, comes back in, she's crying. She left the cameras in the car.
No.
And 80 rolls of film. That is 35 pictures. This is the old 35s now, right? 35, times 35. That, and this is all the Harlem, dramatic pictures, but, she wasn't really into the firefighters, but, she was upset because the kids took the cameras, they threw the rolls out. But going now, let's fast forward 40 years. I'm in the gym, doing my 100 push-ups, right? And this guy, his name is Jimmy Kruger, Captain, bald-headed guy. And he really asked me about the war years and all that shit, right? And he mentioned the book, right? And I said, yeah, I remember her, blah, 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 And next thing he comes in, I got a phone number. I said, what do you mean? This is Jill's phone number. So give her a call. I could give her a call. This is like 40 years later, right? And I call her up. Yeah, this Jill Freedman? He goes, yeah. I said, Jimmy McGinnis. And I was telling one of you girls that. You remember that story. I said, Jimmy McGinnis. And there's like a hesitant. She goes, Jimmy McGinnis from 69 Engine? I go, yeah. And there's a good 1 minute of sobbing. She's crying, right? So, okay. So I said, we'll get down. And so we talked. And so I said, all right, let me get Louie. And we took her out to dinner. Me and Louie went down. She lived on Manhattan Avenue. We took her out to eat. And she likes this. I'm waiting for an introduction here for this thing, right? I'm going to make my own word of the day.
Oh, I forgot the word of the day, right?
Jesus Christ. Right? So anyway, and I got one last book story. And that's with Keith Nicoletto.
Well, let me start. Jimmy, let me start. Let me start. I'm going to segue into this because what happened, Jill was in a fairway. This is maybe 10 years ago. Was in a fairway with a very good friend of hers, Mita Mullaney, who has a documentary out on her right now, which is amazing. You can see on YouTube. And she's shopping in Fairway in here, and she comes across, who does she come across? Keith Nicoletto, who we all know and love on here. And they runs into Keith, and she walks up to, he's in his uniform in Harlem, and she said, oh my gosh, I have great memories of food, of the kitchens and the meals at the Firehouse in here. And he's like, really? Who are you? And she said, oh, I'm Jill Freedman. I photographed it. I wrote a book. I had done a book, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're Jill Freedman. Of course I know who you are. You're incredible. You're a legend. You're so well known in the world on here. And he went on and on and on. And I have to tell you, she was in a really bad place at that time in her life, a little depressed. And this, not only did it lift her out of the spirits on here, it also it changed her. The movie kind of took a different direction, and she really felt remembered, and appreciated. It was a really key moment in her life. Now, subsequently, Keith had hooked up with Nancy and Wendy and I, and we met him. He came to our house, and he looked at the pictures when we knew we were republishing the book. And Keith sat down with us and put captions on all in the new edition of the book, captions on all the pictures. Most of the firefighters were not identified in the book. We identified, I would say, well, at that point, the first edition, we identified maybe 50% of the firefighters that Keith had known, he had known along here, and he has a great recall. And then subsequently, we went Jimmy and Tom Kennedy then once they had the book, they said, hey, I know a lot of these guys as well. And they went in, they filled in some more names on here, which we were so thrilled to get more names on here. So when we did a second republishing, we added more names. And we're so excited that when we do a third republishing, we're going to hopefully get every single name that's listed on here. And Nancy and I went up to with Keith and with Jimmy Gallagher. We went to visit the 80s to Engine 82. We went to South Bronx, a little funky, but a little scary, but it was a lot of fun. And thank God that Jimmy had a gun. And then we went to Harlem to visit, 69 and thank you. And then we went in and we met all the guys who are there now, the new generation. The guys, they were my kids' age, or in their 20s, and they were adorable and so appreciative. And we love seeing them and seeing a whole nother generation of firefighters, which was really, really awesome in here. So now I'm going to segue back to you, Jimmy.
Do we have those pictures, Tank, of the young guys that they met?
Yes, I sent them.
Pete, do we have any pictures, Pete?
Oh, no, you didn't. Oh.
Here we go. Oh, my gosh, that's an 82, right? That's
that's Keith on the left side there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're renovating. See, they're renovating the kitchen there. But they actually had a picture. They had one of Jill's pictures of all the firefighters from both Harlem and Bronx sitting on a brubble. This picture, this picture on here, we had a picture on here. They have in their this one. They have in their kitchen. That they renovated, and have all the guys' names on here that they gave us. So we're so excited. We identified a lot of these guys as well, which we're really thrilled to do in here. And that was it was just amazing to see, be in the firehouse like we are at, here we are. It's the Talk Fire Department now. Thank you so much for them for letting us be here and broadcast from here. But it's just amazing to see this and to see, really live what goes on in here. So. Okay, I'm going to segue, Jimmy, back to you when you're talking about Keith now. So go ahead about Keith and when he did some of the stuff in the book. So. Oh,
yeah. I think I talked to you. Who did I talked to you about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's go. I catch it. What happened? They reached out to me and Tom Kennedy and Louie too to go down to the museum to put more names on. Because Keith knew, I guess, some guys, but he wasn't around back then. And so I can name all the guys in 69 engine and the 20 truck, and Tom could do that in 31 truck and 82 engine, right? So, but way back when, Keith, I guess, was just, he got on, anyway, but he's a young kid, right? And I'm driving the rig round to the box, and I hear hook and ladder 30 10-8. Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah? We got hook and ladder. I'm driving a tiller. We got the hook and ladder, right? And all the years I've seen him so many times, I wanted to grab him. So I grab him at this affair. And as soon as I said it, he knew, right? He says, hey, you have a rear mount. We got a hook and ladder, and 23 got a power ladder, right? Okay. So what he does, there's a picture, and now there's no pictures of me on the fire department. But there's a picture of my boots, a picture of my hand, and in the book there's a picture of me going up the stairs, and all you see is my hand. Side of my face, and I could deny it's me, right? So, and I could deny everything, right? Yeah. So underneath there, it's a brownstone. So underneath in the brownstone there, there's a lieutenant from 59, and there's a fireman from 59. So he was the editor, I guess. So he writes down lieutenant so and so, whatever, fireman so and so, 59 engine, right? Fire McGinnis, ladder 30, right? So he puts down ladder 30, and then he says, studying to be a priest, right? That's in the book, right? So I see that. It's all right, you bastard, right? So we were talking, they're making a new revival of the book, but she says, oh, no, we'll take it out. Yeah. Oh, you got it? Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah, that's the book.
That's one of my favorite pictures. I love that guy on the stairs, right? He's got
that's
there's
me.
a job in the basement.
It ain't me. It's me. It ain't me, right? Yeah. So that's me going up. And these two guys, but he has up there, and I hope you keep it in. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm getting at. So she said, no, I'll take it out. I says, no, don't take it out. Leave it in there. As if you take it out, that means he got me. If you leave it in there, he didn't get me. So
yeah, right, exactly.
Look at him. I know you're watching. You didn't get me, buddy. Right? I'm old school. You ain't gonna get
Good
me.
for you.
You take your 40 years, all that stuff. I'm old school, right? So here's to you, brother. Right?
Solid.
We'll keep
That's the
that
best. When somebody writes something on the board on the
Oh, you can't take it
you
down.
can't take it out. You can't take it out.
Also got this, right?
Right?
Remember this?
Put the collar on, right? So
You know this
Either way.
story?
Huh?
The story of
So
it.
that's when they became when they walked first in the city, and then they became like
Yeah, they were doing that shit. Yeah.
All right, now Louie has a great story he's got to tell right now.
He got.
Well, I have a lot of
With
stories.
the double,
Are we going to be here all night?
no, just tell the one about the double shift.
Maybe you will be. We won't
Now,
be.
before I tell,
Well, keep it up.
Before
I
we
ain't gonna
go
be
there,
there.
I want to mention that when Jill was in the Harlem Hilton, and on my tour, she must have been there some hours before. So she said, Louie, I'd like to freshen up. Now, the offices were upstairs on the second floor. Battalion 16, the battalion commander, G. Arthur Otter, was working. And then I was working, and I forget who the officer of the truck was at the time. But I said, of course, hey, come on upstairs. And what it was, chief's office, toilet, shower, and then 28 and 69. And so I brought her up, and the chief comes around the other way and says, Captain, there's a woman in my shower.
Ooh, hello.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Yes, Chief. That's Jill Freedman, and just letting her, clean up a little bit. She freshen up a little bit, and everything's fine because you're in your office, I'm in my office, and nobody's gonna do anything. So he didn't answer me and went back. But I was lucky, and somehow I occasionally, with where I worked at, I got away with a few things. And what Susan wants me to tell you about is Jill lived on 81 Sullivan Street in the Soho.
The village, above the Fantastics.
She was in a tenement, and on the first floor of that tenement was the longest running off-Broadway show.
The Fantastics.
Fantastic. It ran for what, 40 some years? Yeah. And Ruthie wanted to see that show. She never got to see it. But so I'm working 2-day tours in 82 engine, and Jill is having a party in her apartment, second, third floor. And
To celebrate the
and
book.
so
To celebrate the book. That's why the party was to celebrate the book.
Celebrate the book.
You were in 69 then. You were in 69.
And so I said, Ruthie, I'm not going to come home between tours. It was a 3.5-hour trip. But I said, I'm going to hang over the Firehouse. She says, fine, because she didn't have to throw the 4 kids in the car. So we go, and there's a photograph that you've all probably seen in the middle of the post of
He's holding
The New York Post.
25 New York Post, 25, 30 firemen, Jill and another lady, but there was about 4 ladies there, her friends. And so when I got home the next day, Ruth said, how was your night staying in the Firehouse?
oh no,
I said,
oh no.
So she goes, you bastard, and opens the paper up.
There's Louie.
And thank goodness I had introduced Ruth to Jill.
Where are you, Cap? You kneeling down there?
Yeah.
And so
That's
I
him on
was
the file.
red-handed.
Charlie got his arm
And of
around
all
him.
people, there's Louie with a white rose behind his ear
Oh no.
with top truckie Charlie McCarthy. And so, but being married to Ruthie, and by the way, letting Jill take a shower was an introduction for me and helped me when women came on the job. Because what do you think happened to one of the times I did overtime in the Corona Tigers and in Corona, Queens, when I was working out in Queens, I got an overtime tour, and Margaret Moffat was in the engine. And she came up to me and said, Captain, can I use your shower? And of course, Margaret, you can use my shower. And you know, the men had understood. I told everybody, why don't you go in the kitchen? We'll have coffee together. And because they haven't set up for locks and special showers for only the ladies yet. They haven't gone that far. So,
Yeah, those days, no good. Yeah.
so Jill helped me as an introduction to
See?
it. And I never had any problems with sometimes I'd go to a firehouse and there'd be a lady firefighter and she said, Captain Andrade, I've heard of you. So everything was good. And if I just continue one story with women firefighters, I got an overtime at 262 engine, great engine company in Queens.
Lynn.
And so I called up. I said, house watch, call up and tell him the captain's coming over and he wants a roll call. Well, that sends a signal. Oh shit, you know, we're gonna get some asshole captain wants a roll call. And what I did was I went to the florist next door to the firehouse on Francis Lewis Boulevard where I worked, and I got a bouquet of flowers.
Oh.
And they were waiting for me. When I opened the door, they're lined up, and there was a black lady firefighter,
Lynn.
and I had heard good things about her.
Very good.
She had a black firefighter boyfriend, and I went up. I didn't hold a roll call. I just went up to her and said, "These are for you." And in unison, the male firefighters started singing, "Sissy Captain, bring the flowers." So
he's a ladies' man, this guy, bro.
What it did was it settled everybody. We had a great tour, no problems. And
Hey, Cap, I don't know. I don't remember her last name. She was Lynn. Her first name was Lynn. She was great. 262. I remember her. I was in 117. I used to run in with her.
Yeah, a lot of girls fit in. Some were problems.
She was a
I never got overtime in 274 because there was a problem there.
Yeah, we know about that one.
How'd you get out to Queens in the first place?
But,
How'd you get out of Queens? He said, how'd you get to
How'd you get out of Queens?
Well,
How'd you get to Queens?
How did you?
you know, that's a. I don't want to cut Jimmy off. How did I get out to Queens? When O'Hagan sent me to the Harlem Hilton, the first order he gave me was to get rid of a photographer. Jimmy, what was his name? I forget his name. He wrote for one of the civil service papers.
That was Paul Thayer, I think.
Paul Thayer was it?
Yeah.
He wrote for one of the newspapers.
And he was Paul Thayer had his.
O'Hagan ordered me get his dark room in the basement out.
He had his dark room in the
The
basement.
men weren't too upset because
He has some incredible pictures too.
Yeah. And,
He has some incredible pictures.
he
Paul.
worked for the
that guy.
city bus company down on 145th Street
Yeah,
in our district.
Right.
And
Some of
so
his
that
stories.
was the first thing I had to do. And then there's another story Jimmy will tell you later about shots being fired back of the firehouse. But then the men approached me and said, Captain, you have to get rid of the rats. Well, a 19-story project ran a city steam line through our firehouse basement and back up to the other 19-story. And Captain, you have to get rid of the rats. And I'm saying, how old is this firehouse? How many captains have you had? I have to get rid of the rats? So I called downtown and I called the department of out in the shops and where they have workmen and everything. And I was like denied. I was annoyed. I mean, I was forgotten about. So I said, I'll take care of it. And I brought in a heart trap, which is a trap I use for catching squirrels out here on the island. And the men got it. And guess what? He caught a rat. But then a couple of guys like Jimmy, I think after the third day said, hey, Cap, you got to get rid of this friggin' rat. You know. So I said, well, okay, we can do that easy. They're good swimmers, but you hold them under the water for 5 minutes, they're gone. So
I don't swim good under.
they did that.
Underwater.
and I sent a report downtown. I was a two-finger typer, and I had the men cut his tail off. And in the envelope, I put the tail, and with so many words, I said, "You told me it was my job to get rid of him. Here's number one, and there's the evidence." That didn't go over big at headquarters.
I like it.
That didn't go over big. So that was kind of the beginning of my demise.
That was his ticket to Queens, bro.
Yeah.
I eventually had to get down to the borough commander because I was warned as an acting battalion chief by a chief that I got called. I was going to have a visit from borough command at the end of my night tour being an acting chief in the 11th battalion where I was a fireman and drove some of the chiefs occasionally. And so I said to the fireman, make sure the guy has a 6 to 9 watch, have coffee on, and then we'll invite the chief in for a cup.
Love it.
Who comes in but the fireman, his driver? And I was called to the desk, and his driver said, I said, tell the chief to come on in. I got coffee in the kitchen. And he said, you don't understand. He wants you outside.
It wasn't a social call.
So I went out, and and the chief started to lay the law down to me. And sometimes I would say things on the radio which weren't quite proper. And
all the time.
And so I said, Chief, I'm a chief tonight. You know, you're yelling at me. And he says, in about an hour and a half, you're just another captain.
His ABC.
He won.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's another a million stories. But
How many years did you do at 82, Cap?
I went to 82 for 7 years. I went there in 67 and was promoted in 74.
Was Dennis Smith there the whole time that you were there?
Dennis was one of my firemen. I didn't realize sometime when he was in the bunk, when we got slow times and sometimes, and he would, the guys would lay down, they were tired, a lot of them were, although I think in the beginning we didn't, maybe we did have mutuals, I'm not sure. But a lot of this stuff came later because I go way back to the old, you know, I go back to when it was a roof rope. Now it's a life-saving rope. When we didn't have self-contained, we had a canister mask with charcoal and cotton and something else. And first time I used it, I went, good weed.
I'd rather breathe smoke.
Asshole, you got to take the tape off. So anyway, so
he was there the whole time that you were there. Was he there when you got there?
In other words, I covered Brooklyn. I got promoted about 9 years out of. I did several months at 22 just to get a little truck experience. Same Firehouse, 11th Battalion, and was sent to the 34th Battalion covering, and it was a good area. The 34th Battalion was in with 102 truck, and was it
209?
209, yes, 209. So, and I worked all in those areas as far as the 104 truck and the engine 221, I think.
That is correct.
And so I did all the companies through there, but I couldn't get it. I wanted 216, a single engine company. Now they're in with a new Firehouse.
With 108.
Quite a few years with 108. And I couldn't get all the guys in Brooklyn were getting Brooklyn companies. So I finally met the captain of 31.
Wow.
And I said, I'm tired. I want a company. And he said, I'll get you one. And he said, 82 is opening up. And I think I was going to take Charlie Rivera's spot, who Charlie eventually became the chief of department and the commissioner. And he was promoted right away. I took his spot, and he went immediately to 50-2, right in the battalion. So I was very fortunate to get that company. I was fortunate throughout the job to work just with the best chiefs and firefighters. And I had it easy. I carried a light. Jimmy was carrying 2 lights of hose.
Yeah, what?
And put, I mean, being an officer is easy. When you're a lieutenant, if you're in the engine, you're with the nozzle crew. If you're in a truck, you're with the forcible entry. I mean, so that's what some of the
let's look at some more pictures.
Yeah. Let's look at some of the pictures, Tank. Let's start pulling them up. If you guys got something to comment on it, comment on some of those pictures.
Okay. Wow.
That I think is this guy. I think is 40 truck.
These are Jill's pictures.
Yeah, I think that's 40 truck. I'm going to say that. Yeah.
Look at that kid on that balcony. Is that incredible?
Nothing phased us. Right. Nothing phased them at that point. Bronx is burning.
That's Maisley from 28. That's up on 100. That's the taxpayer. Yeah, up in the 144th.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, that's. I know who that is.
Somebody forcing the door on her.
She got great pictures of the.
Oh, you're in that.
Oh, this is Louie's in the inside.
I'm where all that crap is.
Nice.
And the truck's going in. There's a truckie, and Herbie Eisner, who had his brother was a battalion chief and very well liked. Unfortunately, died of cancer too young. Herbie was in Manhattan dispatch, became chief dispatcher, and he was a buff in '82. We gave him a fire coat, a helmet, and of course, in those years, people, if this thing blows, well, we're gonna have a few injuries. The kids are saying, "Oh, look at the fireman!" Yeah,
they're awfully close too. The kids, look at them.
I mean, everybody's right on the sidewalk there, right? I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's
that is what
144 and 145.
Firemen throughout the country and Canada and volunteer and paid. That's what they do.
Yeah,
and it's kind of amazing. And she also showed the. Well, here's a picture of the public and what they go through. There's a mom and a child coming down with a blanket around her. And she was getting ready for bed, I guess, with her curlers. And so she portrayed the public, how they had to react to a fire of losing their apartment or home,
right? Maybe
losing somebody, and the firemen, and how dirty and filthy and tired they got, and it's strange. What did officers wear in those days? White shirt.
Yeah, that's crazy, Cap. That's crazy.
Now I think it's blue.
The blue is tough enough to keep clean. I can't imagine what it was like to wear that white shirt in the fire.
To wear a white shirt and a tie.
Yeah.
This is the Valentino brothers.
He was. Yeah.
This is the Valentino brothers, 82 engine.
I spoke to Willie. I spoke to Willie the other day. I mean, they were a lot of fun in the firehouse.
Yeah.
These two guys are brothers?
Yes.
They're brothers. Bill is the oldest, and he was in this firehouse being interviewed by
Dan Potter.
Dan Potter, and taking some photographs. And,
for the book they got coming out, right?
Joe DiBernardo and Chief Joe Curry, who you all know.
Well, can I talk about that book for a minute? Because we're actually doing like we supply some of Jill's pictures of the before and after. So some of the pictures for those who saved they saved New York, which is it's coming out in the spring, and we're very excited. Like we work with Glenn Usden and Dan Potter because a lot of Jill's pictures of some of these firefighters in the 1970s, and then they are as they are today.
Oh, it's great.
And that was awesome to kind of have this, this conjunction. We're actually going to be down in Allentown in the end of in April to kind of kind of combine the two books together, which is awesome. Great book. I'm sure you'll have them on to talk about that. I know that. I think Kevin and Lou, you guys are in this book also, which we're excited about.
Yeah. It's going to be a great book, man. It's been a little delayed, but I think he said April it goes on sale.
Yeah. Looks like it's April.
Good man, Good man.
Yeah. Great story.
Hey, Sue, you know what I wanted to ask you?
Yes.
Did Jill ever date a fireman?
Okay. Did she date a fireman or did she sleep with a fireman?
Hey, she was a free spirit.
Okay, she was a free spirit. However, she claims that when she was on the job, that that nothing ever, she never mixed business with pleasure. Jill was not one for long relationships on here, and I think she really, she connected to in many ways with a lot of the firefighters. So I can't speak. Maybe Jimmy or Luke could speak about that. She never outwardly admit this on here, but she was very attracted to the firemen in a lot of ways. So leave it at that.
She was very
I'm just
Gorgeous. She was absolutely gorgeous. So why not? There's a picture of her. She's stunning. There she is.
She looks like Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah,
She's
a little bit.
stunning. She was like, she had long hair. Okay, one quick story. Yeah, there she is. She came when I was 13. She came to my bat mitzvah, and she was living in the village. She's my cool cousin, lived on here. She took a cab from Greenwich Village, and she pulled up, and she brought the cab driver as her date, and kind of pulled in. And that was it. Like that was Jill. Like that was like a typical Jill type of thing. We were sitting here
Can I throw one in on that? Let me throw one on that.
Like 3 or 4 years ago. No, 3 or 4 years. 4 or 5 years ago, right before she passed away. I'll tell you what story. We were in Thanksgiving, all Thanksgiving with our family. Our kids are at this point were in their 20s, like early 20s. And she turned around to both my kids and said, "Got any weed?" She was probably, they didn't know what to say. They had it, but they didn't offer it. So that was pretty.
Holy shit!
And I have to say that I became a little bit of her drug dealer towards the end of her life. I was trying to this point. We were taking care of her. She was sick. She was on hospice, and she smoked a lot of pot for many years on here. And she had COPD, and I was like, you can't smoke anymore. So I somehow was able to find like some
Edibles, gummies.
I had someone make up some pot cookies.
Now you can go down the street and find it, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I was a little bit of a drug dealer towards that. I'm not really proud of it, but at least she ended her life very happy. So.
What were you gonna say, Jim? You wanted to add to that?
With Jill, all right. Back then, no women in the firehouse. So the way with that, you got a woman now sleeping in a firehouse on a freaking kitchen table, right? I got St. Barbara, right? Don't worry, scratch. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So she crusty broad. Don't worry about it, right? So I don't know. 6 months later, something like that. We're downtown at a fair or some shit, with some kind of a big affair. So I'm with my wife. The elevator comes down. There's Jill. Jimmy. Think of it this way. You're in the office with, some women and all that stuff, right? You see them. They're normal people. Then you go to a wedding, and they go at the wedding. Whoa, that's Helen. She's a knockout. That's the joke, right? So I'm getting my wife's looking at me like, I thought she was scroungy, right?
I thought she was scroungy.
Scroungy, and then she was like, I'm like, oh boy, So
yeah, she looked like, when she was younger, she looked like Farrah Fawcett, for God's sake.
She was absolutely gorgeous. She really was.
I tell you what, she was fun. When we took her out, then I went down again. I took her out again. I should have brought that. I should have that picture to you. I got a picture. She's in her apartment. She got that picture of all you guys, all of us, at her apartment there, when she opened up when he had the book signed, whatever, the book opened up, right? I was smart enough to step out of that picture.
Smart man.
All the heavies. I'm the 20-year guy, and there are all these heavy guys, right? Yeah, I'm out here, right? So, but she had a great personality, and when me and Louie took her out, that was great. And but I tell you what, she was. She had to me, she had a great fucking personality. I mean, she could fit right in. She could sit down there and drink with the men. She would drink with the men, and she'd be right up there, belly up to the bar. She's back on
allegedly.
I mean, she was a legend, and our goal
drink with the men off duty. So,
good one,
at
Jim.
The bar.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. So
she,
but anyway.
She was
take over there,
extremely
Louie, with all your stories. Come on, put it in there.
Go ahead, Sue.
So she was extremely personable, and she had a gazillion acquaintances on here. I don't think I look back now, I feel sad because I don't think she wanted so much more out of life on here. She never had a relationship that lasted more than a year. Her life was really photography, and she's like a struggling artist of what she really was. That's what she was. I mean, and she gave everything to her work and to her art, and you could see this. It really comes through. But she was, she was an incredible person on here. Our goal, my family's goal right now, is really to honor her legacy, is to try to keep her in the, keep her relevant. We really feel her work, even 50, 60 years from now, is still relevant. She is so all over the place. The things she did, not only just firemen and cops and the Holocaust and the Martin Luther King and Poor People's Campaign in New York City and Manhattan and all these things that she in Ireland. She had an incredible genre and incredible going. So our goal is to try to keep her, with all her friends and people who have really helped her throughout her life on here, to keep her relevant, keep her going in. So even though we're going to a lot, we've had a lot of shows. We published a couple of her books. We want to make sure that people can do this, so we can sit down and keep her images were incredible, and we want people to be talking about her not just now, but in 100, 200, and 300 years from now. So I mean, we will eventually. Once Nancy and I and my other sister Wendy, we all have our full-time jobs. This is our second full-time job, but we're really committed to keeping Jill's legacy alive. Eventually, we'll probably donate some of her work to museums and colleges and universities. We're offering right now. There's the book right now. If you go to jillfreedman.com, you put in Salty 23 because we love the Getting Salty podcast. And the Getting Salty gang. They're amazing, and they represent everything that's really great about firefighters and the FDNY and firefighters everywhere. So we're offering $30 off for the book on here, and we hope that people will take it and look at it. I'm a little annoyed with Frank Leib. I'm going to talk to Chief Leib. He came to Jill. We had the firefighters night down the New York City Museum, where Jill has about 40 pictures that are being exhibited, have been exhibited since September. They're down there right now. And Chief Leib and I spoke, and I'm going to donate a bunch of pictures and posters to put at the Rock, because we think it's a great thing to have for trainers. And I was watching the show last night, and Coobs, when you sat down, you mentioned Jill Freedman and Susan Hecht, and there wasn't a glimmer of anything of any type of recognition. I'm going to call him and call him.
I would call him. I'm going to call him.
I'm going to. We're going to get together, because this is going to be something I really want to make sure that happens. It's really, really important that the probes and all that probies and all the people that coming onto the job see what it was, what it was like during the war years and during the times when Jimmy and Louie and all these people were doing this. It's incredible that we continue this legacy. This stuff doesn't go on. You don't have pictures like this anymore. You don't have access like that anymore. And that's sort of our goal.
Well, he's not at the Rock anymore, so maybe that was it.
I know, but it doesn't matter. I'm still.
All right, take it out on somebody. There's a random guy in the back.
I like the guy walking in the back like nothing's going on.
Hello. Yeah. All right, let's go through some more pictures, Tank. Let's get them out there so people can get your wallets out, you cheap bastards.
They're still sending me pictures, by the way.
Video. There's a video of her talking.
If I may say something about Jill.
Go ahead, Cap.
Fireman there.
You can put the picture up, Tank.
Jill didn't. Jill didn't have to worry about me, because I introduced Ruthie, my wife, to Jill, and I think Ruthie said, "You don't go near my husband."
Nice. Ruthie laid down the law.
Yeah.
And besides,
go back to that other picture, Tank.
That what I used to love to hear was, "Get your ass in bed, Louie."
40 truck there.
Yeah, 40 truck.
So anyway, another side story. I got too many stories.
You got all kinds. It's amazing.
So,
a lot of,
but she was a great gal, and
well, great gal for a great guy.
Can I say?
Can I have a couple shout outs I got to say on here? I think we got to talk about Joel Nolte, who is he's the NYPD captain, he's involved with the FDNY, and he's representing. He really helped Jill in getting some, in her documentary with Rita Mullaney, going in talking about Firehouse. And here we got, of course, the Valazano brothers, Willie Knapp. We spoke to Willie Knapp a few times on here. Tom Kennedy has been absolutely amazing. We love him. We've met so many people on here. A lot of people came and we had a firefighters night at the New York City Fire Museum, which is a fantastic museum that Dennis Smith actually started on here, along with the Firehouse magazine on here. When we did this book, I was going to republish a book on here, and Dennis had just passed away, and I had not connected with him, which I'm so sad that I never met him. And I tried to track down his family, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to be able to include Dennis's words in this new republished. And I was so sad about this, and so happy that I connected with his family, and they were amazing and supportive and wonderful. And so we added all of Dennis's texts, which is incredible. It sort of makes, as people told me, it makes, Report from Engine 82 come alive, and Jill's pictures on here, which we love on here. And we've been so happy that they're part of this. So everything that we do, we not only do in memory of Jill Freedman, but also Dennis Smith, because the two of them were just incredible representatives of the FDNY, and we're so happy to partner with them in their memorial, a memoriam, and kind of bring that back in their honor. So everything that we do, we make sure that we bring Jill and Dennis and bring things back to them.
Sweet.
Is Pat still alive?
Yeah.
Dennis's wife? Was it Pat?
I don't know.
Pat.
I don't know about Pat. I know all his kids are. All his kids are on.
Tank, you got more? Run through him, buddy. Let's see him. Let's see get on as many as we can, because the guys are gonna love him.
Come on, Tank.
Come on, Pete.
Come on. Oh, you did it again.
Pete.
That's called
Listen,
jumping rope.
y'all killing me. There's 500 pictures and they're still sending me stuff.
That's all right, bro.
Fine.
Scroll through them, bro. We like to
That's
see
Jill.
a little snap of the 70s.
That's Tom.
That's
What's
Tom
the story with
Kennedy.
the What's the
That's
story with the
really that.
kissing picture?
Hey. Well,
This is the story. This is two guys.
Here now.
Go ahead,
That's, the
Jimmy.
home,
Your story.
that's the
Jimmy.
home smooch. That's 59
Tell the
inches.
story. It's right there.
I don't know the story. I know the two guys. They're good. Their names are there, right?
It's
I remember when that picture was taken, though. I saw that, right? But that's 59 inches, right? And look, we all did it. I hope we're
Smooched?
still doing it, right? I hope we're still doing it. Right?
yeah.
Right.
It's just a relief at
We ran it
doing it.
together.
It's a relief at doing a job, but this is not. Listen, it's not a gay picture at all. I mean, and this is. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with
Brothers,
that.
love and brothers.
Not
I
that
was
there's
gonna
anything
say,
wrong.
hey, not that there's anything
That's
wrong
my
with it.
favorite line.
But this is just two guys that really, a relief at getting a job well done. And and apparently the two of them were crazy, and they're just like, and if they're not really kissing.
They
It's
were.
Yeah, you could
doesn't
see
matter.
it.
I love this picture. This has been like replicated. I actually found this online somewhere. Someone had made T-shirts. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Take it off your site. It's a great. It's one of my favorite pictures of firefighters.
awesome.
I think it represents everything that you guys talk about brotherhood, about commitment, about family.
Brotherly love, it's called.
Right.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what Jill called it.
Hey, Tank,
Oh.
take a picture of a
I
second.
thought only Bronx
I want to
firefighters.
talk to
kissed.
Coop. Hey, Coop.
That's hard.
Wow.
All right, I have one question to ask all you
Wait,
firefighters are here.
Give me
One at
break
a
here.
time. You guys are killing me here.
Okay, one question.
Wait, wait, here. Right there.
I'm on a lot of firefighter websites. Just because we're trying to promote Jill and going in it, and I'm on the firefighter wives. Not that I'm a firefighter wives, but support group on here. It's like some type of Facebook page, and and it's very, very interesting that all these. It's very difficult to be a wife of a firefighter from what I see on here. And I'm asking why, because I think you guys are absolutely incredible. You guys are cute. You're kind. You're heroes. You go in, you do all these great things. But now, Coobs, I know this is your third wife, your last wife. I know, I'm happy about that. I know, and I listen, you have been married. You were married for 56 years, right?
68. We were on 68.
68? Oh my God. So my point is, I'm not saying longevity, but there seems to be a lot of issues with marriages and infidelity and type of. So my question is why, and what's your opinion? I guess you guys as firefighters, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I'm a dinosaur.
Well, you're rare. You're rare.
Well,
You
it's
gotta
a
remember,
tough
when I
life
was a
for.
kid, everything was completely different.
Right.
Police and fire never divorced, but they think different now. Well, if you can't get along, why not get divorced?
Well,
we were
the
taught
divorce
to
rate is
stick it
over 50% as it is. So I mean, so
In
if you go
general,
by,
right, the general
so if
public.
you go by 50% of the fire department, that's still a lot of guys, right? But as far as why is it so difficult for women, because they have to share their husband with another family, which is the fire department. They have to share them on holidays. They have to share them on events.
Absolutely.
They have to share them on everything.
Yep.
It's not easy for the women.
Families, two families, right?
Yeah, they're not home all the time, firemen.
Right.
Plus, if you are a weak man, I'm not saying that you are, but firefighters get a lot of attention from the female genre. Period.
Some of the tradition is still there. In other words, we had picnics. We had the wives involved. We had the wives with us. We camped out for a couple of days in a mud hole. Couldn't get into state park, and there's a bunch of firemen with young kids, and so I think we stayed together in marriage because wives were part of the fire department.
Yeah, they still do
I
that.
ended up in Bronx Fulton Hospital from a fire when I too much smoke, and I wake up and there's the penguin in her book with the umbrella.
Right.
Charlie Radke's next to me in bed, and I didn't know it, but Ruth got the kids together, went to Dan Dooley, who was a fireman, made in a 22 truck and 108 truck in Brooklyn, and ended up in Queens. And so she gave our 4 kids to Danny's wife, and somehow got into the Firehouse, and of course they took it to Bronx Fulton Hospital on 169th Street, more close to 3rd Avenue than we were on 60. And all of a sudden and of course the next day I woke up, they gave me oxygen, and Charlie was awake and I'm awake. And who comes in? And the first thing she says to me is, "You bastard."
How dare you?
How dare you do this? So, but she was involved. She met everybody. Firehouse. She'd come with sometimes payday. We'd stop in there, and if we were going upstate.
Sure.
And so picnics. We swam in the East River off Harding Avenue, where the Irish pub was, and they played soccer in the field behind the Irish pub. And so we had picnics and we're swimming in the East River, and we always did the breaststroke.
The best stroke.
You know why? Well, sewage was in the East River.
Who was swimming in the East River?
You know what the man's going to say.
So the breaststroke, you were pushing the
Garbage out of the way.
and the
And the dead body and the dead bodies.
Yeah, the rats. Tech, let's try to go through some more pictures, bro, quickly before.
We've made it through most of the black and white pictures. Now we got some more recent pictures.
I just sent some.
Ah,
know that guy. Look at that guy.
Guy right there.
That's from that they saved
Wow.
New York. That's one
Yeah.
of the pictures that from the new book that's coming out.
Dan Potter and Gun News.
That's Louie, Captain Louie.
That's funny.
That's great. There, that's
It's
That's
Tom
Tom
Tucker.
Kenny, and that's Jill's picture. That it was in Newsday as a recruitment ad for. What does it say on here? Can you see it? So you want to be a fire? You wanted to be a firefighter when you grow up, and that's the gorgeous Tom Kennedy. Shout out to Tom Kennedy.
And he helped us find the names for the book. too.
Absolutely.
He was great. He knew Jill well.
Tom did
Oh,
well.
There we are.
That's
me.
that's in Harlem. Yeah, I
I'm
think
the
that's.
new, I'm the new recruit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, Nancy's the new recruit there. That's great.
A couple.
This is 59. This is 82. I mean, they gave us our shirts. That was awesome. We loved it. These are great guys at Casa Grande. Got my shirt on. We have our shirts on. There's Keith, and that's
He's the
that's Jim
NYPD.
Gallagher, who thank God brought us safely to the South Bronx.
Auxiliary fireman.
Yeah, auxiliary fireman and
Oh,
Towers
Yeah.
to Tunnel. This was an incredible the Tunnel of Towers run. This is the first time we did it. We will be doing it every single year. Again, in memory of Jill and Dennis. Amazing. If you haven't done this, it's an incredible. I've never experienced something like this in my life. It was it's absolutely
Now,
incredible.
Where is what you had to get Wendy in this?
I know. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Wendy.
You're right. I know. Amazing. I know.
That's it. Oh, there we go.
Here's the
This is
book. And here, again, don't use FDNY 22. Use we're gonna use Salty 2023 because we're kind of honoring Kevin and Lou and their amazing podcast that they do, and they introduce keeping everyone abreast of all the firefighters from old and new. Amazing podcast, incredible. I really Nancy and I and Wendy have become buffs. I mean, I never thought I would, but it's
buff. He's a buff.
it's incredible. We're right. Are we honorary buffs? That's it.
You are. Yep.
That's
oh,
that's me. That's my son's bar mitzvah.
You got some leg, kid.
Yeah, you got some of the kickers there.
You got the yams.
Just like Ruthie.
there was
Called
there was
yams.
a fire.
Wow.
There was a fire in the middle. It broke up my son's bar mitzvah. It was great. So the firefighter ever showed up. It was amazing.
Nice.
Ruthie is
The legs
Jill.
there, sweetheart.
Where is that? That's not Long Beach,
Now
right?
that's Merrick.
Oh, all right. You don't do bar mitzvahs in Long Beach? What happened?
I just moved. I just been in Long Beach 2 years.
Oh, all right. There we go.
I'm new.
All right. She's
Put
new.
put that code back up there, Tankamus.
And
Please.
if you guys want more fire stories from these gentlemen, we're gonna have them on individually as well. I think we got Jim booked for what
20th.
April 20th.
Me? I'll be here.
Yeah, and I gotta get Louis
They're gonna have me on
information.
again.
Yeah. When do you want to be?
Not with my friend from out east.
No.
Just you, Lou. Just you, Cap.
You got Captain Louie. You got lots of
just-
stories. You got lots of stories to tell.
All right, so
I think
All
a
right,
good
Jill,
picture of Jill to end on will be
Jill
good right here.
before she died.
Yeah, that was kind of. I was with Jim when because what a difference from 81 Sullivan Street
I know.
and later on. I hadn't seen her for quite a few years.
Tank.
I got a call from Jim, and she said she'd like to see you, Lou. So I met him in the Harlem Hilton, and we drove down. And where we drove to was where I had my first fatality, Manhattan Avenue, which when I was young was all black.
Right.
And
for sure.
my
Morningside
first fire,
Black.
we somehow 47 engine was at another box, and we went all the way up to 110, turned the corner, and when we turned into Manhattan Avenue, which ran from 110 to 125th,
Right.
flames out the window, and unfortunately we lost a baby. But
Oh, gosh.
Chief was smart, and in those days, what you did after a fire, we felt bad. What do we do right? What do we do wrong? And the chief said, listen, what happened when we turned the corner? What did you see? And we saw fire out the top floor window. The child was in there. He said, you didn't kill that child. That child was gone when we got there.
I can't.
So,
I can't imagine.
And what we'd do is we'd have coffee. We'd have, I don't want to say this, but we'd have
Allegedly.
maybe something else.
Allegedly.
And something maybe even
Coca-Cola, Cap.
and we would talk it over, and that was our therapy.
Yeah.
We didn't go. We did.
Very sad. I can't imagine again, like dealing, doctors and firemen and firefighters and police people. I mean, it's amazing what you do, and it's tolling, and it's just incredible that you can't control this, and a lot of times it's death and loss, and it's just sad.
And it's sad to see. It was sad to see Jill in that kind of a condition, because I remember her when she was.
But even if she was in her,
Right, she wasn't bad. She
2
was pretty good.
weeks before she was 80 years old.
We had a
But
nice.
she still had that sparkle, even though she looked older and she was definitely sick, but she still had that sparkle, and she still had that her
Yeah, it was a
charisma.
great meeting. Jim had a small plate. I had a small salad, and we had a few drinks, and it was good to be with
love
her
it.
and talk.
You know the fucking meal we had? What's the matter with you? I never know that.
You didn't hear that.
No,
I guess that, Jim.
Okay, but you guys, I have to just give again kudos out to Getting Salty experience, what you guys do, and what you bringing again, not being from the fire department and bringing all this stuff back, and all the stuff that you've got, all the episodes I've been watching religiously. Amazing, and I'm so appreciative. Thank you for letting us talk about Jill and have this venue to to bring her out. I hope that a new generation of people will get to learn about her. But what you guys do day in and day out, and letting people talk about their memories and their experiences, is just absolutely incredible. And I hope you do it forever and ever.
And we'll get these two guys on by themselves. We got them.
All right.
If you could send me Captain's email when you get a chance and his number.
Will do.
So I'll call him this week. We already have Mr. Jim on April 20th.
All right, great.
And anything else?
Thank you for coming on. No,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It was good to get a little. I've been posting Jill's pictures for 2 years, and it's good to get a little bit of an insight of what's happening and who she was and all that stuff.
She's the people.
Yep.
This was one picture we didn't show tonight, but we all recognize this picture, obviously.
That's what we started with.
Yeah.
That's the podcast picture.
No, that's the one that we finish up with, I believe. That's the ending.
Oh,
Isn't it?
Jack, who in the beginning of your show, when you hear and you have at the end of audio is, get the fucking fire out. Who
I
is
don't know
that?
who that is. Do we know who
That
that
is the
is?
greatest. That is the greatest clip ever.
I don't know who that is. Some people have claimed it, but I don't
Chief.
know who that is.
Right.
It's the chief of Manhattan, I believe.
You know who was in that? Do you know Jim? Do you know a Peterman?
Yeah, Billy Peterman.
I'm trying to get that guy to come on the show. He don't want to come on the show for nothing.
So, the chief. That's the chief. He's captain of 28.
He was the captain of 28, correct?
And then he became chief. He's over in the Bronx. Wonderful man.
He lives in Florida. He asked me to get him that picture. I sent him a blown up copy because that's him on the line in that picture.
Well, tell him that. Tell him use my name. Drop my name.
I love to drop your name.
It's that I got you.
Excellent.
Kevin.
Come on now, Cap. Yeah.
Yes,
so
love.
humble.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna catch
Not
you.
like
on
me.
Beach.
You will. I told you. Yeah, I'm around.
All right.
Tank, do your thing. We have to do.
We have to hear from our friends at the First Responder Center
Yes, we
for
do.
Excellence.
Yep.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
All right. And
Thank
the
you.
old school health and safety tip of the evening is wash your hands after you return from a fire or EMS alarm before eating. This will reduce the ingestion of contaminants. And that's all I got.
Hey, I got something for you guys.
What do you got? Ah,
Hey.
nice. Look at that.
I don't know.
And
What
what-
I
is
think
that?
that's all we got. Far from it.
And
That's one of the things that we sell at the cigar cutter.
I get this thing on. I get in a mirror here. How do I get the Hey, and
Hey.
Ah, he's got a Halligan too.
That's a baby.
Those old?
That's a
Yeah.
baby
Oh,
Howard,
yeah.
which is, you know,
don't leave home
he's
without
fine.
eating, right?
I like this guy. He's plugging away for us.
You even get
Well,
openers in the shape of a Howard.
I tell you what, every retired firefighter's deck ought to have one of these, right?
Yeah.
Every bay
was a
ought to
truck,
have one of
so-
these,
Well,
right?
wait till he sees when we got one coming out like that. It's a pizza cutter.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No.
Ruffy loves it. All right, guys, listen. We are off. Ruffy's away in Florida on Monday. Come Thursday, we have Captain Crescio from 107. I've been talking to him. Another guy I got on back in the day. We'll have him on Thursday. We don't know if Ruff will be joining us. Hopefully, if not, somebody will be sitting in there. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming on. Kat, Jill's sister. I can't recall her name now. What is it? Nancy.
That's Susan.
I didn't tell you all the stories.
We'll hold them.
Happy
We'll have you on.
encore.
We'll have you
Yeah,
back.
we'll have an encore. And Jim, Tank, and Ruffy. No
My
shout outs,
pleasure.
Ruff.
No.
I promise I won't call you Gonzo anymore, Tank. Sorry about that.
I won't hold you to it. It's okay.
I'm
All
still
right.
going to call you
Good
Pete.
seeing you, Jim.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We will
Great.
see you
Jimmy
until.
McGinnis, good seeing you. Love you, brother.
Hey, we'll be seeing each other.
Yeah, no kissing. I don't want to see any kissing. All right. We'll see
Hey,
you.
yeah.
We'll
Hey,
see you
hey.
Thursday night. Stay low and go, guys.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one.
Hi, fam. Much love. See you on the fire floor.
And along.